This bulletin is coming to you live from Joy 99.7 FM Kokomlemle Studios here at digital address GA0993341. Also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country, including A1 Radio in Bogatanga, Pad FM in Damangu, and ATL FM in Cape Coast. Is also live on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by UMB Bank, UMB Speed App, Digibank, Let's Go, and Telesol 4G. Just a touch. In this edition, over 100 Ghanaian students stranded in Wuhan demand immediate evacuation to Ghana as China continues to battle deadly coronavirus disease, which has so far claimed 80 lives.
We don't know how long this is going to take. The infection every day, the mortality rate, and the number of cases going up. So members are scared. So we want to be evacuated back home.
We'll bring you details as the students complain they've now run out of food in a city on lockdown. Many lives saved at the new mother and baby unit of the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital 2 years after it was commissioned following Joy News special assignment documentary.
17 to April 2018, we had 135 maternal deaths. And then if we compared it to May 2018 to April 2019, this had dropped to 115. That's when we moved in.
We'll hear from the doctors then. Joinee's Arrive Alive road safety campaign gets applause from the second lady, Samira Baumia, who's urging improved driver education to check carnage on Ghana's roads.
Too many people are dying. The statistics are mind-blowing.
And in sports,
Asante Kotoko head coach Maxwell Kunedu explains the omission of striker Sonny Yakuba from yesterday's Super Clash.
Details coming up later, and also in the bulletin that talk about this woman. Angelique Kidjo dedicates her Best World Music Grammy to Nigerian star Burna Boy, and social media has been buzzing. I have all the details here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apawu. Please stay for details. And we head to Wuhan now because over 100 Ghanaian students studying in the Chinese city, the epicenter of the deadly coronavirus, are demanding immediate evacuation to Ghana. At least 80 people have been killed in the outbreak. The worried students have been locked up in their rooms for 8 days now, say they have run out of food supplies because the city is closed due to fears of the virus spreading. Samson Opoku is the Wuhan chapter president of Ghanaian students in China.
That because of the outbreak of the coronavirus, we all stay indoors and movement has been limited. Actually, the city was completely locked down. No vehicular movement, no human movement. We all stayed inside up to today. There was panic buying. People were stockpiling food stuff. Some of the students were able to do that. Those who got to know the information earlier, and those who have the money. And because some of the students are not on scholarship and don't have money, they couldn't buy enough. Then 5th day now, and some have started running short of food, but there's no vehicular movement. We've been asked to stay indoors for our own safety. We are 161 students here in the city now, in Wuhan city now.
So what would you want the embassy to do?
For us, we want evacuation back home, Ghana, because we don't know how long this is going to take. The infection every day, the mortality rate, and the number of cases going up. So members are scared. So we want to be evacuated back home. So when the situation subsides or when it ends, then we return back and continue our academic work.
So that's Samson Opoku, is the Wuhan chapter president of Ghanaian students in China. Their national president of the Ghanaian students in China, Felix Jeu Ado, joins us on the line. So your members want to be evacuated. They are stranded. What have you been able to gather? Have you had any help for them yet?
Well, thank you very much. Like you rightly said, our members in Wuhan, they want to be evacuated. And I believe that I have also passed same information to the ambassador. They had a meeting today, and they are meeting the Wuhan executives at 10 p.m. That's about 2 hours from now. They are going to have a meeting with them, and this issue will be discussed thoroughly during the meeting. So the message has been carried from our members to the ambassador, and he's meeting the Wuhan executives to ensure that they know the best possible solution to have for what is going on now.
So from what we hear, they've been locked up for 8 days now. They are running out of food supply. Whilst we meet to deliberate on it, any help, any intervention for them?
Yes, so because the city is under lockdown, I believe that these things are expected. Some shops are closed because it's also the Chinese New Year, and irrespective of the virus that is spreading, it would have been a similar situation. But because of the panic and the spread of the disease, people have been kept indoors because that's what we've been asked to do to protect ourselves. And so today I spoke with the Wuhan president, and he said some shops had opened, and so they were going to get some supplies and groceries for members who need it. And so that is an intervention now, and I believe that by evening time they would be able to get these things to the members who need it.
But from your checks, though, no Ghanaian student has had the coronavirus disease just yet?
No one is infected as of yet.
Okay. We're grateful for your time. Now, Felix Joe Ado is the national president of Ghanaian students in China. Back home in Ghana, health officials say they've tightened surveillance at the country's entry points as officials in neighboring Ivory Coast deal with a suspected case of the virus. There's, however, concern that not enough is being done to protect lives. A Ghanaian student who returned last night from China, Michael Al-Hassan, says he did not go through any rigorous checks. Listen to him make the point on the AM show.
I arrived yesterday.
So
he should not say they have done any extra thing on Friday. That is not true.
No. Let's not go there.
Segregation of somebody coming from country A or country B. We are all together.
Actually, you were those who had arrived from China were not isolated.
Nobody is isolated.
Okay, and you are not given any extra health form?
I'm not giving anything, and nobody is giving anything.
Okay.
The only people isolated are people who were going visa on arrival. Apart from them, we are all together. Then you are given the normal immigration form you have to fill when you are entering or leaving. That is what we were all given to fill, and everybody filled.
Okay. So apart from that, nothing unusual?
Nothing.
Okay, because what you described, this sensor thing is also pretty normal, isn't it?
Yes.
You had a Ghanaian student who returned last night from China, Michael Al-Hassan, speaking to my colleague Mamavio Uswabuaji on the AM show. Now, the head of disease surveillance at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Gesiedu-Bekwing, has been responding to these concerns.
What was done was the temperature monitoring. But I think that's the most important. You see, infectious diseases are characterized by fever. So you have this temperature monitoring device in there, and that is there to detect fever. So you have a temperature of 37.5 degrees Celsius and above. You'll be set aside. Okay. So that's the first line. But then the additional information that we are doing is that we have now introduced this health declaration form, which is targeted at persons coming from China and the affected countries.
So Michael was supposed to have received a certain form.
So I don't know. What I'm saying is that let's not downplay. Let's not downplay the use of the temperature monitoring device.
No, we're not downplaying. You had moved on to a certain form, which you said was an extra, an addition, particularly for people coming from China.
Yes, for Friday, what happened was that I spoke to the Port Health people just this morning. I was trying to find out what has happened. They're telling me that they have records of the forms that they've issued out since Friday.
Now, that's the head of disease surveillance at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Gesiedu-Bekwing. Let's move to the Kotoka International Airport, from where head of Joy News' health desk, Fred Smith, has been monitoring the situation. Fred, how is the monitoring going at the airport?
Well, I've not been able to access the arrivals area where the screening is happening at the moment. However, I've been able to access information on those who have already been screened. The director of Port Health has actually given me evidence of the screening that has been done since 24th of January. And for each airline that arrives in this country from China, affected countries, they screen the people, and giving me the list of people who have been screened. In the case of Ethiopia Airlines that I saw, that was yesterday, some 174 passengers were screened, and he's indicated the captain of the aircraft has signed off.
From your checks, though, Fred, how rigorous is the exercise?
Well, it is very rigorous from what they tell me. I mentioned that I've not seen the area where the screening is taking place by but I've been told about the system in place, which means when you are entering the airport, there's a screening part, there's a walk-through thermometer, which will indicate your temperature. And if they identify that your temperature is above 37.5, globally it is 38 degrees Celsius. But if they identify 37.5, then they will isolate you. There's an isolation room where you go, and then further actions will be taken from there. Then if you're also from a country where this disease has been affected, then you will be given a form to fill according to the official.
So you have Fred Smith, he's head of Joy News' health desk. Now we're off to the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital because doctors say many lives have been saved since the ultramodern maternity and MBU became operational. A Joy News special assignment documentary, Next to Die, by Seth Kwame Boateng, which highlighted the deaths of mothers and babies at the hospital due to congestion, led to the construction of that facility 2 years ago. Seth returned to the facility to assess the impact and has come through with this report.
A quick intervention from the First Lady Rebecca Kufuado and the Multimedia Group Limited, as well as members of the society, saw the construction of this ultra-modern maternity and mother and baby unit in a record time of 6 months. It's 2 years since the facility was commissioned, and the impact has been phenomenal. As head of department at the hospital's obstetrics and gynecology unit, Dr. Gerard Uso Subontin reviews.
Previously, the first stage of labor area, we had 8 beds. And now we have 17. So there's enough space that when women come in labor, you can be seen quickly. You don't have to queue. Previously, we had only 2 recovery area beds. Recovery area means when they've been operated upon, you need to monitor them. And if you have only 2 beds, as soon as 2 people are there and they've not been sent to the ward, everything gets choked. Then those who are operated have to be kept at the corridors. And the corridor could take about maximum 2. Now we have 9. So what means that as soon as we operate upon them, they are able to be sent to the recovery room, so we don't have to wait.
He adds the number of needless deaths has drastically reduced.
17 to April 2018, we had 135 maternal deaths. And then if we compare it to May 2018 to April 2019, this has dropped to 115. That's when we moved in. And then what we call stillbirths, as babies who die before they are born. When we compare the figure from May 2017 to April 2018, we had as many as 401. Compared it to May 2018 to April 2019, this has dropped to 247.
Almost 50%.
Almost 50%, more than that even.
More lives are being saved now, thanks to the 3 surgical theaters available in the facility, a clear departure from the past, where only 1 theater was functioning. At one of these theaters, doctors here are doing their best to save the life of this woman in labor. She's unable to have a normal vaginal birth, so the medical team is compelled to cut her open and pull the baby out. The 9 birthing beds fixed in 9 different cubicles in the maternity ward of this facility have totally resolved the congestion. 2 years ago, there were only 2 such beds available, and there was no privacy. Doctors and midwives here do not have to rush patients through delivery to make way for others anymore.
That's Seth Kwame Boateng's report from the Mother and Baby Unit at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital. It's time now for our Arrive Alive campaign, the Joy News campaign to reduce road accidents and save lives. Today, the story of the young woman who lives with broken legs after an uninsured vehicle driven by an unlicensed driver crushed her to the ground. The National Insurance Commission says there are thousands of uninsured vehicles on Ghana's roads. In our latest Joy News documentary, Driving to Kill, Kwesi Parker Wilson tells the chilling story of people who have been adversely affected. Here are extracts.
People look at my legs because I'm limping. Right now, my life has changed totally.
This is the current condition of another victim. She's been rendered physically challenged after a soldier crashed her. I
was standing right in front of the car. I just felt a bang from the back of my car, and then I realized I was crashed into the car that was parked at the distance, the Good Samaritan's car in front of me. And I feel pains because of the implants in it. So a little pressure on it, I feel so much pain and it gets swollen.
Warrant Officer Ralph Goka, who caused Clara such pain, donated only 3,000 Ghana cedis for her troubles.
Since then, he hasn't brought anything for surgeries, medication. For 3 months now, I don't remember the last time I heard from him or saw him. From the beginning, he presented an insurance number that his car was insured, but the insurance company confirmed that he was fake. So his car was not insured, and apparently he wasn't even having a driver's license.
Clara and her husband were forced to drag the officer to court.
They pressed 3 charges against him, and surprisingly he was just charged just 960 Ghana cedis for the 3 charges, and that was the end of it.
An uninsured vehicle is a moving coffin.
You heard the excerpt of the latest Joy News Hotline documentary, Driving to Kill. The full documentary will be aired tonight on the Joy News channel at 8:30 p.m. Now, the documentary is part of Joy News Road Safety Campaign, Arrive Alive, an effort to help reduce road accidents in our country. Now, Second Lady Samira Baumia has praised the Arrive Alive Road Safety Campaign by Joy News. She wants an intensified driver education to reduce accidents. At least 2,000 people are killed each year in Ghana, with 2020 already having recording dozens. The latest incident which generated headlines was the Dompoase accident, which killed 34 people, including a baby. Mrs. Baumia says many of the accidents come down to reckless driving.
Because the news of death is everywhere, and it's unfortunate, but yes, and well done to your outfit for, having this campaign. It's very important. But for most accidents, they are reckless accidents. I mean, they shouldn't even be called accidents, because it's the recklessness that causes it. So they are avoidable deaths, and too many people are dying. The statistics are mind-blowing. So it's about, back again, educating our people, of course, fixing the roads, but educating our people on safe driving, because the faster you are, the more likely you die in an accident. You're driving, right? So at the very least, you should know that. Don't exceed a certain speed limit, because it threatens your own life.
And if you're old enough, you should have some memories of Ghana's first commercial radio station, Joy 99.7 FM, and for that matter, the Multimedia Group. This year, the group celebrates 25 years of broadcasting excellence, and Mrs. Baumia had some nice words for the media group.
I think you've done well to have this brand identity, which is putting the news first and being topical, staying on top of issues. And that for me is, and there's a level of professionalism which for the most part all Ghanaians expect of you, which means that it is a bar you have set. So when you fall short, or if people perceive that you fall short, they do complain, which tells me that you've marketed yourselves or you've worked hard enough for people to expect the best of you at all times. So nobody would not think of Joy if they are thinking of excellence in radio. I think so far it's been healthy. You've provided a platform for people to express themselves, share their opinions, share their views, their visions with the public. Myself, the first time I met you was when I came onto your show, and that was before we were in power and we were in opposition, and at the time you provided that opportunity for all sides to come on and speak. So it's a testament to your commitment to working in the space, the democracy space, advancing democracy. So it's not just about the people in power, but it's everybody who aspires to be in power. What is your message? How do we put it out there for the benefit of the people?
Second Lady, Mrs. Samira Baumia. Now, NDC's communications officer, Sami Jemfi, is said to be in the grips of the police. Sources close to him tell Joy News reason for the arrest is unknown, but that he was picked up this morning by 5 BNI officials. My colleague, Kwesi Parker Wilson, has been monitoring this latest incident and joins us on the line. Parker, what information have you picked up regarding the arrest of Sami Jemfi?
Okay, so Emefa, the lawyers say that they don't really know why Sami Jemfi was arrested this morning, but they are suspecting that somewhere last month he was invited by the CID to come and answer questions on some allegation regarding cyber offenses, and that he decided not to appear before the police at the time. and is the reason why they have arrested him today. But they want to officially confirm from the Ghana police as to why he has been arrested. And I can tell you that almost all the national executives of the party are also present this very afternoon, including the national chairman and the 2 deputy general secretaries of the party.
You had my colleague Kwesi Parker Wilson will get more information regarding that arrest, and we'll bring you more subsequently. With the midday news, we'll take a quick break. When we return, politicians, entertainers, and global icons eulogize legendary basketball superstar Kobe Bryant, who died together with his 13-year-old daughter in a helicopter crash.
Los Angeles, America, and the whole wide world lost a hero. We love you, Kobe.
Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. Gianna, long live Kobe. The marathon continues.
We have details of that, and also with a talk about this woman. Angelique Kidjo dedicates her Best World Music Grammy to Nigerian star Burna Boy, and social media has been buzzing. We'll have details shortly.
UMB was established in 1972 as the premier bank for the corporate and private sector in Ghana. From our very beginning, as the only Ghanaian bank serving all categories of businesses, we set a standard for excellence and innovation over the past 45 years. We've built a financially healthy and strong bank, demonstrated our commitment to our customers and to growing businesses, and exhibited originality and innovation at every turn. At UMB, our focus is built around people, service, products, and technology. These are the key to our present success and our future triumphs. At UMB, we're poised to make a difference not only with our customers, but also in the banking industry. We invite you to share in our future. Our future starts now with you.
This bulletin live on Jubilee Radio Keta, Porta Premier Ho, Lolonyo FM Hohoi, World Community Radio and Bishara Radio Northern Region, Pad FM Damango, K Poly Radio Kofodia, Sunshine FM Boko, Radio Fubisi Upper East Region, Gaskia FM Bono East Region, Kai FM Bono Region, ATL FM Cape Coast, Radio Max Taprade, and Radio Somali Upper West Region.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. And last week we reported that the Ghana Education Service officials were preparing to take over the Achimota Preparatory School and JHS in Accra, and the Parent-Teacher Association raised concerns threatening a clash with authorities should they make the move to convert the school to a public institution. My colleague PSC Nanaya Osafo has just returned from the school and joins us in the studio. What did you observe, PSC?
Yes, Emefa. So quick search on the school today, and in fact when you arrive there, it's hard to tell that there was any such directive because it's business as usual. There are no external GES personnel, but for 1 or 2 parents, actually the school is they are going about activities as they normally do. Yeah.
Well, you've been interacting with authorities of the school. What did they tell you? Did you cite Ghana Education Service officials there whilst there?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, you can't find any external Ghana Education Service personnel there. And for the teachers, it was a bit confusing because they were expecting at least some education personnel coming through based on the letter that they showed us from 27th December 2019. And the director saying that today, 27th of January, there is supposed to be a takeover from the Greater Accra Regional Education Service there and postings of certain teachers. They haven't noticed any such thing.
Well, we've been interacting with a parent. Listen.
It's from Paul Manso. I am a parent here.
Okay. And usually we know by this time you should have some work here.
Yeah, it's true.
So why here today?
Oh, yesterday. It was on Friday when I heard it on news that GS is taking over the school. Truly, I don't know what's going on. My daughter is also a student here. Yesterday, we had a PTA meeting here. We were assured that nothing is taking place this morning.
You are assured by who?
By the PTA chairman. That they are on the grounds working. Everything is okay. We should allow the children to come to school this morning. I allow my child here this morning. But I wasn't happy with her alone here. So I decided to come here to see whatever is going on. If anything, I take my child home.
So what work do you do?
I'm a building supervisor.
Wow. And you've left work to be here?
Yes, for the sake of my child. You know how the whole world is.
parent there of the Achimota Preparatory School. And what a match it
Hello,
was.
Emefa. How was last night?
I couldn't eat. My thinking fermented.
Oh, okay. You must eat tonight.
What's the latest though?
And Asante Kotoko head coach Maxwell Kunedu has been explaining the omission of striker Sonny Yakuba from yesterday's Super Clash. Asante Kotoko beat Hartlepool by a 1-0, but conspicuously missing from the matchday squad was striker Yakuba, who's been the subject of intense transfer speculations.
Yeah, Yakuba is a good player by all standards, and for me, if I'm managing a team and we have issues to settle at home, I think we need to settle that before he comes back to play. I mean, we want him, but we need to sit down and talk. Until then, I think Kotoko also is a team and has to take certain decisions. We left him out because we felt he wasn't mentally, calm or focused. That is why we left him out. Other than that, Yakuba is a good player and he's a Kotoko player. We want him, but we need to talk to his agents and settle issues that we have back at home before he comes back to play.
That's head coach of Kumasi Asante Kotoko Maxwell Kunedu there, and over 7 billion was realized at the gate yesterday in that game. Then later on Sports Track, we'll be looking at how to consolidate the gains made after the Super Clash yesterday.
No matter how hard you try, though, we know where you stand. Now let's stay in the world of sports, because the world has been grieving over the tragic loss of legendary basketball superstar Kobe Bryant, who died together with his 13-year-old daughter in a helicopter crash Sunday in Los Angeles. Tributes have been pouring in from politicians, entertainers, and global icons. In the following report, Komladum looks back into the career of the 41-year-old and how the 2020 Grammys honored him last night.
The third highest score in NBA history.
News of his death sent shockwaves across the world. The basketball fraternity was hard hit. Some NBA games scheduled for Sunday evening were called off. Those that came off had players holding up amidst an emotional meltdown.
Name the greatest two-way players in the history of this game. He's right at the top of the list. Now Bryant again out between the rings.
The game between the Raptors and Spurs, for instance, had fans and players pay tribute to the memory of the late superstar in an emotional ovation.
The love that's being expressed in this building and around the world was due.
LA Lakers superstar LeBron James, in a teary tribute, described the late Kobe as a model professional and an admired friend.
The work ethic that he put into the game, he had zero flaws offensively. That's something that I admired as well. It was a dream come true for me to be able to line up alongside of him.
The basketball great died together with his 13-year-old daughter Gianna on their way to Mamba Academy in Thousand Oaks, where Gianna was following in the footsteps of her LA Lakers father and attending basketball practice.
It'll break my heart to hear you say goodbye.
Several musicians and entertainers, led by American singer Alicia Keys, paid tribute to the memory of a former Los Angeles Lakers legend at the 2020 Grammys at the Staples Center.
America and the whole wide world lost a hero. And we're literally standing here heartbroken in the house that Kobe Bryant built. We love you, Kobe.
Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. We've come a long way.
American President Donald Trump described it as terrible news in a tweet. Barack Obama described him as a legend on the court. To lose Gianna, he tweeted, is even more heartbreaking to us as parents.
Every road you take will always lead you home.
May their souls rest in perfect peace. Now listen to this. Angelique Kidjo last night, after picking up the Grammy Award for Best World Music for her album Celia, dedicated her award to Burna Boy, whose nomination was a major milestone for contemporary African music. She also used the opportunity to praise the wealth of the new talent coming from the continent. Kidjo and Burna Boy collaborated on the track Different, a standout from his hit album African Giant that also features Damian Marley. Burna Boy has expressed being a major fan of the celebrated artist on several occasions. Listen to Angelique Kidjo at last night's Grammys.
I was telling you that the new generations of artists coming from Africa gonna take you by storm, and the time has come. This is for Burna Boy. Burna Boy is among those young artists that come from Africa that is changing the way our continent is perceived and the way the African music has been the bedrock of every music.
I'm definitely a proud African today, and there's a lot of talk on social media. They're buzzing. What are they saying?
All right, so two things that are trending today is the death of Kobe Bryant, and Barack Obama says Kobe was a legend on the courts and just getting started in what would have been just as meaningful a second act. To lose Gianni is even more heartbreaking to us as parents. Michelle and I send love and prayers to Vanessa and the entire Bryant family on an unthinkable day. At Wendy Shea, GH says, rest in peace, Kobe, until we meet again.
Thank you very much, Mapito. No, that didn't come out well. But that's it for the midday news here on Joy 99.7 FM. Our top story: over 100 Ghanaian students stranded in Wuhan demand immediate evacuation to Ghana as China continues to battle deadly coronavirus disease, which has so far claimed 80 lives. And that's it. I am Emefa Apawu. Thanks for your company.